And we are back for another CBC podcast. There are a few interesting topics we will cover, like Spider-Gwen, Quicksilver, and MCU in the next year. It's just been one of those weeks where there's not as much going on. Hopefully we'll make up for it by entertaining you. Or not, who knows. And as always, before we get into the show proper, just a quick thank you to everybody that is a member here of the CBC page. If you're giving us $1 to $2 to whatever, thank you very much. It does go a long way, especially when YouTube has been all over the place for so many people in the last couple of months. It really does mean a lot to us that you guys support this and make this podcast possible. As always, we are giving back to you over there in the members section. As you guys have seen, tons of exclusive topics, videos, discussions, and Let's Plays. And as I said, a big announcement in regards to audio commentaries, and in the next week, you guys can look forward to 2 of them. The latest episode of Mandalorian, aka Season 2, Episode 1. Episode 2 will be coming soon, and we go back to Season 1 and do the 3rd episode of the 1st season. So a lot to talk about. Make sure you guys are checking that members page daily, as videos are constantly rolling out. Again, thank you for all the support. It really does mean a whole lot to me that you guys are willing to throw down any amount of money to support us. So with that in mind, let's just get to the proper podcast. We are back once again. It's going to be a good, smaller on topics week. I can feel it in my bones. It's going to be good. I tell you, it's going to be good.
There was nothing, was there?
No, there was pretty much nothing.
It's going to be very suitable for this week.
It will, yes. That's the way it's going. It'll be hopefully an entertaining show. But with that in mind, of course, I am your host, Armin. Starting whenever the hell it's out, you guys will be able to find me on Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War, semicolon, all my hard drive space taken up on PlayStation 5 when it comes out. Yeah.
But at least you can delete the parts you don't want to play anymore.
Oh, good. Can I just opt to not install the campaign at all?
Apparently not. You have to install then delete.
That's dumb. What the hell? That's stupid.
What a great way. But of course, since I introduced myself, I am joined this week, as always, by Mitch.
What's up? You can follow me on Twitter, Mitch692.
And also Tristan.
Hey guys, you can catch me at SJ Chance, and I'm on a sugar high today.
Oh, good.
Well, I just want to ask people, if anyone plays Destiny and has a Spire of the Stars raid boss checkpoint, let me know. Let me know on Twitter, please. The last one I got to do.
Gotta get it done, and then like faster load times and stuff are coming. It's gonna be nice, right?
So it's actually gonna load. I'm not gonna get stuck in the tower for like 10 minutes.
Well, I saw Series X comparisons. They're like, now Red Dead Redemption 2 will take you 45 seconds to load and not 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I'm like, whoa, that's still so long.
Yeah, but in comparison, that's going to be like a blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
I can't look at my phone anymore. That's how short it is.
That'll be nice. Yep. So, yeah, with all that in mind, we're just going to open up with a nice little factoid that I've been saying. Well, we'll do a DC one, so we got a DC one this week. And it's almost like it's perfect time that it happened, and this was going to be something that I want to talk about. So as most of you know, last year in October, the Joker movie came out. And way before that, before they actually started work on Joker, they were actually working on some sort of version of a standalone Lex Luthor script for about 3 to 4 years. Now, the original aim would have been to also shoot it like Joker, quick, dirty, and cheap, and try to get it out this year, from what I understand, right before the elections. And the film would have been on Lex pitching why he should be president. So, that's it.
Well, maybe.
Interesting.
It is. Well, I was just wondering, how are they going to shoehorn him stealing 40 cakes?
Just look.
Is it like, like he's trying to rig the election, and they ask him how to do it, and then it pans over to a flashback of him as a kid stealing 40 cakes.
Look, what I want to know.
40 cakes, he stopped counting.
Yeah. Well, see, the plot point I want explored is him arguing versus like Perry White, who's running for the White House, in the DC universe, and he's like, "Look, Perry. Nobody understands more about kryptonite cancer than I do, okay? Nobody." And Superman's just there being like, what are you talking about? Like, it could actually make a pretty interesting, like, I would actually want to see a Lex Luthor, probably not a movie, but maybe like a mini series or something. I think that could be kind of cool to explore because he's a pretty good character, but
give your money to Netflix and watch House of Cards.
It doesn't have the diddler in it though.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I ain't gonna. Well, he was.
I
Lex
mean, it's a
Luthor,
villain,
though.
isn't it? Like, the villain's a villain.
And he was Lex. You know what? I might, because a lot of people have said I should watch that because I would like it. So I don't know.
It was a good show. I never finished it because obviously stuff happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm fine. And then it's just like,
that seems
it
to
was
be
good
how
while
it
it
goes.
lasted.
Well, there we go. Just a little factoid. We almost got a Lex Luthor president film. We don't have it. We probably will in the next couple of years, though, because they want to focus on multiple standalone supervillain films. So, I guess when we know more about that, which inevitably we will, we'll talk more about it. So, there's been a lot that just keeps on coming out from various people, sources, insiders, whatever you will, in regards to the whole live-action Spider-Verse that at some point is going to happen, obviously. Now, the latest rumor that kind of hit was well, maybe Spider-Gwen, maybe Emma Stone, ? I mean, yeah, Spider-Gwen makes sense, right? That's not out of the question.
I mean, yeah, I'd be surprised if we never see it. I'm fully expecting the Spider-Gwen something at some point. Whether it's Emma Stone, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if she'll do it. Haley Steinfeld, I reckon you could probably get her, but if she's going to be Kate Bishop, we don't know yet.
Doesn't she also voice Spider-Gwen anyway?
Exactly.
So yeah, that's perfect. Here's my thing. And I know this for a fact. Emma Stone is talking to Sony, but from what I understand, it's not for anything Spidey related. So maybe it's a side story where it's you can make a connection there because of all the rumors, but it could just be a random Emma Stone love film, right? One of those rom-coms because it's Sony. They need anything they can get.
Or it could be Zombieland 3.
Exactly, right? So, I mean, but something is happening there. But my gut feeling is Spider-Gwen is going to happen in the next 10 years. It's got to. She sells so much merchandise. She's going to co-star in the spin-off from Spider-Verse that's, focusing on all female. It's just too much there not to do it.
Yeah, because I'm like, at least she does sell merchandise because if we're talking about comics.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that's why I was hoping they actually have more stuff to go off from Gwen because as of right now there's not really a lot.
I'm going to make a bold prediction here. At some point, there will be a mini Miles Morales style spin-off video game that will be Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Test the water there, and when it sells tremendously as another interim film type of dealio game build-up, they'll be yeah, let's do this. Because that seems to be what Sony wants to do now. They're just test it on the PlayStation. If it sells, it sells.
I can see it being DLC for Miles.
Yep. It would work. So, with that in mind, the whole Spider-Gwen thing, the Spider-Verse rumors that just will not go away, in your opinion, when they reveal, the Spider-Man 3 title officially, probably in December, when they reveal it at that Brazil convention, what do you think? What's the likelihood that it is going to be something Spider-Verse-ish or not?
You got Doctor Strange, you got Electro in there. I think it's gonna play a part. I don't think it's gonna be focused.
I think it's gonna be multi-dimensional, but I don't think they're gonna have a big enough impact for it to be called a Spider-Verse movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why people are hyping themselves up only to be let down if it doesn't happen, and then they'll be blaming Disney and Marvel for not giving them what they wanted because we heard the rumors. Set Raimi free.
That's literally how it goes, though. It's look, I didn't get what I wanted from The Last Jedi. Why? Because Darth Plagueis was supposed to show up. Where'd you hear that? ex-YouTuber. Oh no. Like, I mean, my expectations always sit as they are. Rumors are cool, and it's a great what if, but I'm not holding my breath out for it, being like, this has to happen to make the film. You know, like, I'm going to judge it on its own merits and what I expect, want, and, you know, think it's going to be as a follow-up to Far From Home. Because that's kind of what the film deserves, you know? Like,
kind of what it has to be. If it's not, then...
Exactly. Like,
I apologize for the fireworks you can probably hear going off right now.
Yeah. I heard something. I was like, oh, what is that? Hey, either
it's
way.
It's not gunshot, I promise.
So, I mean, there's a lot to really dig into when it comes to all these rumors about Spider-Verses. But like we said, you know, I think there's probably something that's going to happen with Spider-Gwen eventually. There's something that'll happen with the likes of some multiverse aspect in the upcoming like film. Just how big it is remains to be seen. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the movie we get some of it, but most of the movie is just standalone Peter Parker identity thing, you know? Like, that could work. It's, I don't know.
It's got to be something like that.
Yeah.
We'll see him. We'll find out in like less than 2 months. So.
Ooh, hype. Can't wait to get it confirmed. So, we'll talk more about it when we have stuff here. But for right now, don't build your hope up on Spider-Gwen, especially, you know, like that specific version of the character being played by Emma Stone appearing, because you might be disappointed. That's all I'm saying. Don't build it up in your head as a must happen. Oh, boy, this story, this is going to be an update, because the last week of, here's what Joss Whedon has done, and then what has been said since has been wild, to say the least. So, first, from my understanding, is there was a story published by Forbes being like, well, here's what Ray Fisher said, and here's what happened, and yada, 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 and it was a lot. And then Forbes updated the story, which not many people are talking about the update to the story. I find very suspicious, but the person that wrote the original story was let go because it was misquoted, and like kind of like a made-up quote, is from what I understand, right?
It was a hearsay, so it wasn't like anything factual. So they had to put like quotations in anything.
That's the thing. Everything Fisher said was from third-party sources. It's nothing's from his own experience. So, but it's only the Joss Whedon one they've taken out. The whole Jeff Johns is a racist and all this stuff is still in.
Oh wow!
Because Whedon's side came out and went, no, that's false. That they took it down.
So
I don't think it's a misquote. I think that's exactly what Fisher said. But it's purely because Whedon's people came out and went.
I got his lawyer involved and said, no.
Right, yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's just an interesting situation to keep seeing the evolving story, and also like the evolving story of the Snyder Cut, because now they're in their like 4th week of reshoots, going into 5th. So that story it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. You're like, okay, well, what's happening with it this week? Because clearly it's not just going away. It's a thing that keeps on coming back. And again, from what we understand, Fisher is still part of those reshoots, right? Like, yeah. So, I don't know how to like react to this, right? I think that's like because that whole Forbes article was very weird, to say the least. Like, I was looking at that, I was like, boy, this is a weird article. Like,
it's like from the beginning, this whole saga here, like you want to believe Fisher, you want to see that, you know, what he's saying is true, and that's how come like a lot of stuff that's happened that way. But as time goes on and we see that, you know, not everything he says is true, or all it's false for that matter, it starts to wane on you, saying, I don't know what to believe at this point, because what you're saying doesn't line up with what other people are saying that are near you, and it's conflicting with other reports. So I don't know what's true and what's false. I don't even know what you're trying to get at.
Exactly. And the part that kind of stood out to me was him saying, well, a bunch of my scenes were cut, and they tried to color correct my skin out of it. And like most people pointed out, being like, if you look at that entire movie, they recolor graded the entire thing because it just looks terrible. Like they literally like used the color slider, and instead of making the sky red, made it blue. And you can literally see that's all they did. They like it's and like that whole nighttime scene when they're fighting Superman that's supposed to be night, they just raised the brightness and to make it look like daytime, which is very apparent. So like other people have been like, well, I don't see how that's Joss Whedon and WB being racist, because they cut out a bunch of scenes for everybody. Like everybody got everything cut.
The way he put it is, to me, it sounded like he was saying that they went over and just brightened up his skin to look like 3 shades from white. And then I went to go look at it.
That's the impression he gave off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I went to go look at it, I'm like, I don't see any like whitewashing going on here. It's just
it's not like you've got White Turk from Scrubs going on.
Yeah.
Because that's how it came off as he put it. And then when I went to go see what people were trying to talk about, and like they didn't really do much. It's still you.
I even had like one of my friends who works as an editor, and he's worked on some. I can't mention it because people might be able to find names, but like he's worked on some stuff people that listen to this podcast might have seen on TV. That's how I'll put it. And like even he was like, when we shoot some footage as him being an editor, like he has completely graded some like complete scenes to look like how they're not supposed to. For example, like Star Trek Discovery, for example, and I was talking to him because he used that as an example. They shot scenes in Vancouver, and then they turned around and made the entire landscape, like all the trees look purple in a recent episode. And you can see how kind of they might have been in a rush because the situation around the world. Because sometimes you look at the people in the scene, because they didn't grade everything properly, you see they're like, all the alien skin changes from like a blue to like a neonish purple because they just they kind of felt in a rush, right? And he was like, that's kind of what he got from it when I was talking to him. I was like, look, this whole scenario with Ray Fisher and everything is just
it's a hot mess.
It's complete mess.
Absolute hot mess. And it's compounded by the fact that everything he said in that interview would not hold up in a court of law. You can't go, oh yeah, I'm suing this person because I was told that they did X, Y, and Z.
Right.
No, sorry. So as Tristan said, I want to believe him. You don't want to sit here and go, oh, well, he's clearly lying.
Yeah.
If you throw out hearsay, it's like, well, I'm not like even like he, yes, he's given quote some kind of detail, but even his detail is still vague. It's like, Jeff Johns was a racist, and the notes he gave me were coded racism. It's like, but what was he saying?
Yeah, it's like I just want to put it out there. It's like I'm not saying that like WB is all innocent. It's just like what both sides are saying, it's like they're technically they're both at fault at this point. And they're just trying to use their platform to get whatever they can out of from what they want. And from Fisher, he wants his big break, which I don't think he'll ever get it anymore.
Yeah,
it's also there's the whole we talked about it a little bit ago, like the whole accountability of entertainment. It's like, well, what about Amber Heard?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why isn't no one saying anything about that?
Yeah, it's like we feel sorry for what happened, but she didn't do nothing wrong.
It's just it's a mess. It is an absolute mess. WB's in the wrong. He's in the wrong. It's just if Whedon, even the whole Whedon bit, like Whedon's not in charge of editing. Yes, he'll be like overseeing it, but like, who's to say if it did happen, it was Whedon?
Right.
What if it was an editor? And that side of the argument was never presented, mainly because Whedon just kind of came in here and went, no, that's wrong. Take it down, or I'm going to sue. So it's like, I think if it was true, you wouldn't have had I'm going to sue you if you don't take this down thing.
Yeah.
It's like people like make it seem like Whedon was in the editing chair telling all the other editors to change the contrast on Fisher's skin.
Yeah. It's...
And I think this is a lot that Jeff Johns is quiet. on this.
I
think this is like that. It's like,
Yeah, it is.
Why even respond? Like, it's not true. Like, why even say anything?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've also seen like a lot of people, like if you go and just start looking at some of the comments and replies, people are just now, anytime an update is posted on some one of those websites or something, or another quote, people are just like, okay, show some proof or go away. Because like people are just getting fed up with Fisher. Just, he's essentially vague booking, and when you inbox him, he goes, well, I'm gonna just vague book a response to your inquiry. It's like, come on, man, like, we need something more.
He's losing support on his side quick.
He is, yeah.
You know, again, I don't want to sit here and say he's a liar. I don't think he is lying.
No, I don't think he is either.
Like, the fact that the guy who did the interview for Forbes has spent the last several years being quite big in the whole Snyder Cut thing, and part of certain Twitter sites that, I don't know, something feels really disingenuous about this entire thing. And the fact that Ray Fisher can't really give solid, concrete details, it's all hearsay, kind of makes me think something a bit nefarious is going on here. But that's the tinfoil hat. I don't necessarily believe it, but that's my like Alex Jones moment of the week.
Yeah. So with that, hopefully something will happen by the end of the year where it seems like we get a little bit more every other week. So hopefully something big will be published and we'll go, aha, that's what it is. Like, that's the thing. Until then, we'll see you guys next time for this roller coaster of a story. So Quicksilver, we've speculated on here before that there's probably a chance that Aaron Taylor Johnson would be back as Quicksilver to some capacity, like even in WandaVision, because it would make sense. Like, if she's building her perfect world, why not bring back her brother? Like, that would kind of make sense. It wasn't too much of a stretch to assume that could happen.
No. And I think it was one of those everyone kind of, people have been saying he's going to come back for years. It's like, oh, you can be back in Infinity War. You can be back in this.
Yep.
Like, oh, Thanos is going to bring back everyone to mess with everyone's heads. And it's just like, possible.
So that's the sort of update we had. Empire State Comic Con, they're a pretty big con in the United States, all things considered. They get exclusive action figures and pops. Like, that's their size. They had a placeholder up, and I talked to somebody that does run a convention circuit near where I live, and he was like, that's not a mistake. They did not accidentally post that. They knew about that months and months in advance, and that accidentally showed up, and now they're trying to just be like, well, it's not... It's a real thing. Quicksilver in a pack with Vision, Pop Funko based on WandaVision, is a reality. That thing exists, and it will exist. And it's a big... I've seen it two ways. People going, well, yeah, Quicksilver's back, and other people going, yeah, it's Quicksilver from X-Men. I'm like, it could be either. I don't know anymore. Like,
it could just be a comic book 2-pack. You get these Marvel Legends lines, and they have comic book figures in it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember everyone being like, how the Kree Century is going to be in Captain Marvel? It's like, well, it wasn't, because it hasn't got the Marvel Studios logo on it, and that was kind of obvious. So it could just very well be that. If it is Aaron Taylor Johnson, cool. That's my perfect scenario.
I hope so, because I really like him.
So hopefully it's not the Evan Peters one, because Evan Peters Quicksilver, quote Quicksilver, is more like Speed, and having the essentially Speed be in the series where they're introducing Speed would be really weird.
Well, just because you said that, now half the comments and messages I get are, actually, Fox's Quicksilver is better and great, and I have to reply why, and they go, well, you know how cool he was in this one scene? I'm like, oh.
No, I don't know how cool he was in that one scene, because he was nuts.
He was so fast, time stopped still. That's why it was so cool.
The dude got his leg broken by a slow guy. He sucks.
Yeah. Oh, Dark Phoenix. God damn.
No, that was Apocalypse.
I don't remember. They're both the same garbage.
He then breaks his leg because he falls from a bit of wood that Jean moves in Dark Phoenix.
We old Prince Cafe. We
have to end this scene somehow.
So who knows? I mean, there is also that, like, piece of dialogue that was related to twins.
Yeah, it was from twins, wasn't it? Talking about the uncle.
Right. So I've seen speculation, people being like, there's going to be an episode of this series where the uncle visits and it's Quicksilver. I'm like, you know what? Probably. Yeah.
I say I can see it. You have Agatha Harkness. She's like, Wanda's not making her own perfect little world. She might think it is, but clearly it's not.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell from the tone of the trailers that that's not what's happening here.
Yeah.
So having a version of Quicksilver show up and it's not the one she knows, I'm gonna mess with your mind a little bit. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So...
Also, even if it is Evan Peters, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the Fox Quicksilver.
Exactly.
Because we haven't seen this Funko Pop, so we don't know what it looks like, and there's no way that they're gonna put that cheap, plasticky looking leather suit he has in this show.
Yeah.
So, maybe it's just Evan Peters in the Quicksilver suit we know.
Dude, watch Evan Peters show up with the proper Pietro cut and the lightning bolt suit.
Oh,
can you imagine that?
There's the Halloween episode. It could be in there.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
fit
cool.
Perfectly what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the costume show up on some kid that's running by.
So
But at the end of the day, I don't think he'll be hanging around long enough for it to matter anyway. If it is Peters in his Quicksilver, it's going to be like a one and done thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fun little nod, and maybe that's the bit that makes her completely snap and everything breaks.
Yeah, know. I mean, it's totally possible. Like, that's the thing, and that's what I kind of like about it. It's like we don't know what's exactly coming with this series at all, and I've seen some people say, well, if Quicksilver was there, wouldn't we have seen set photos? Yes, just like we all knew everything that happened in the first episode of Mando Season 1, right? Oh, wait, we had no idea they were fighting a giant crate dragon. Like, come on. No. Just because there's no set photos doesn't mean it's not something that's...
I was going to say, we've seen barely anything for this from leaks.
Yeah.
Barely anything. It's crazy.
No, it's been very...
Mainly because most of it was filmed indoors.
Exactly.
Why would you film a sitcom outside? It's all going to be on a soundstage. But
yep. And we know it's by the end, there's going to be a huge action sequence. They said that rivals the best Marvel movies. So we'll see what that is. But until then, I guess we'll just...
Wonders time. Finally. Yeah. I've waited 11 years for this moment.
You've been waiting, Mitch. You've been waiting. It's going to happen. It's coming. So, yeah. Hopefully we'll have our trailer soon because the series is coming in less than 7 weeks. So there we go.
Yeah, and we know it's December because they had that November, what's on Disney Plus in November, and it wasn't there, and they said 2020. So
it's literally dropping the week after Mando. It has to be.
Yeah, 100%. I'm still firmly planted on Christmas Day.
Yep. Can't wait.
There's some slight. I'd be surprised if they overlap it.
Yeah, no.
That'd
be dumb. Too stupid. That's a wasted opportunity on their part. I guess no.
Yeah. That'd be like a week or two of, less subs that are going to stay.
Exactly. And also, you don't want to split the conversation into two fandoms because a lot of the fandom crosses over. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, we'll know soon when that release date. So looking at what's coming at us next year, we'll be obviously going into 2021. We'll be getting the end of WandaVision as it's starting at the end of 2020. And then we know the Falcon and the Winter Soldier will follow that. We don't know if it's going to be like a couple weeks after, a couple months. We don't know.
Falcon and Winter Soldier's got to wait for Black Widow. So whenever
Black Widow, yeah. Also, Loki, from what we understand, production did somewhat start to get underway, but nobody has any other reports on that. So
I think they're supposed to have nearly finished Loki.
Yeah.
So God knows when they were supposed to have done that, but apparently they didn't. It's just like, okay, that thing's nearly done. Cool.
Yeah. So that's looking pretty interesting. Some of the rumors we've heard that just won't go away is mutants. Possibly the big one, Wolverine. People keep saying, okay, Falcon and Winter Soldier, that might be where he shows up. Obviously, people are looking at just comic book connections to try to figure out if this is where it could happen. It'd be kind of cool. Is there anything else that could possibly show up in 2021 other than like What If? Because that's sort of going to happen.
I mean, I think Hawkeye's supposed to start in November at some point. I'm not entirely sure. A few of the ones we've got news on recently are supposed to start fairly soon, so it's entirely possible that we get an extra one at the end, like in a December slot.
Yeah.
Which one, I have no idea, but apparently they are supposed to be filming soon. I think it was Daniel RPK on Twitter said Moon Knight's supposed to be filming this month or something, so that'd be a quick turnaround, but I don't know if there's something that Oscar Isaac's filming something else, and or in a couple of months, so it's gonna be a bit tight. But who knows? I've got no clue what's really going on. But
yeah, I mean,
I think you might see one of them in 2021. I think the rest will be 2022.
Yeah, I think they're gonna aim for 2 series next year. I think that's what they want to do, and because we know
I'd say 3.
You think? Well, I mean, I'm not counting What If.
Falcon, Loki, and like Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, any one of those.
I could see that, yeah.
I almost forgot about What If.
Lot, because they haven't said anything since that one little bit we had like a year ago at this point.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been a while since they've said anything about it. It'll be interesting to see how they approach this. My big look at this is sort of a lot of things got to start rolling back to a normal release schedule, right? Because we know they're shooting Mando season 3 this month, November. They're starting production, so that's going to be on production to probably start again at the end of October. My assumption would be October next year you get Mando season 3 followed by whatever Marvel show.
Yep.
Again, due to WandaVision pattern. Before that, you drop Loki. Before that, you have Falcon and Winter Soldier. And then after whatever show next year, you roll into Obi-Wan and the Rogue One prequel. So it's sort of, you can start to build out their timeline, in your head. Because, I mean, it's, you look at the productions that are happening and you kind of understand the way they're going to go, unless there's more significant delays, which hopefully not.
I was going to say, I would have said, anything filming over here would have stopped because we're now officially in lockdown, the sequel. But apparently the Batman's still filming in Liverpool, so they're still doing their thing, which fair play. So I don't know how the States are going to handle it, depending, I suppose, who if it has called already, because it's all going out on a Saturday. I suppose we'll find out soon enough on that one, but
right. So
it seems to be like they're not even slowing down at this point. So.
No, I'm excited to see what they're gonna have to offer for Marvel in general for 2021.
I suppose actually we'll find out 8th of December. They have that Investors Day, didn't they?
True. Yeah. Yep.
So I imagine they'll be like, this is our current plan. I'm going to assume because Falcon needs Black Widow to come out, that Black Widow's going to move forward a little bit.
Oh, that would be nice.
Because they can't... You can't just start Phase 4 with WandaVision and then have to rely on Black Widow and Falcon.
Yeah.
To then just suddenly hard stop everything. Unless you move everything around, Eternals comes out.
I was going to say, if we look at the schedule, because we have Black Widow in May, Shang-Chi in July, Eternals in November, I could see slight move ups, slightly bumping everything upwards, because Eternals being a year away from this week, oh my god, that's so long for a film that should be out now.
Yeah.
It should be out. We should be talking about it right now, but we're not.
It hurts my heart.
It's
just like the comic book series that was supposed to happen.
They how long did they hold on to that?
A while.
And now the Eternals later, it's like, we're going to push it out to January. It's like, just drop the damn thing now. Let me have it.
Yeah.
I'm starving over here.
So
I can see some date shift because those dates aren't solid. They never were meant to be solid. It's just a precautionary thing to give it.
I also don't think that Disney, and follow along with what I'm trying to tell you here, because it'll make sense when I get to the end of it for people listening. So you're telling me next October they drop Mando. Mando leads into whatever MCU series, and at that same time during the 7-month or 7-week crossover, you're dropping Eternals and Spider-Man 3? That's that is not happening. So things are getting bumped around. That's definitely going to be something that changes. it's too much volume from one studio to drop at once. It just cannibalizes itself.
They're planting a flag to plant a flag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, right, well, if we can get these dates, we get these dates. Everyone else can work around us. We haven't got to work around them. Yeah. That's all it is.
They're pulling a cyberpunk where we move, everybody runs away. That's what they're doing. Like,
yeah.
It's.
I mean, the cyberpunk's never going to come out. So.
Well, that's true. It's coming out 2077. That's why it's the title.
It's there all along. As if the game even is actually in development. We don't know it for a fact. No.
It's being developed by Cyberpunk. It's actually a time traveling game. It's.
God damn.
Good Cyberpunk. So
I'm going to be back on my Black Widow's game going Disney Plus before it hits cinemas. Bullshit.
I mean, I'm still sticking to that. Did you see AMC's earnings for the last quarter?
What earnings?
Exactly.
And like nothing.
And now, optimistically, like some analysts are already getting their next update for December, January when fiscal quarters end. And I've seen some out there, like, you know, like early projections from people I talk to. And I saw one that's going to be floated out there, and it might already be, but like cinemas, if they're not back to normal by summer, which,
yeah, which they won't be.
You are looking at a complete, and I mean a complete collapse of theatrical, like substantial. So.
Because from what I saw, it's really weird because that the cinemas that are still open or are open, no one's there. It's just the employees, soap stations and gloves everywhere, but no one's there.
To bring this up, have you guys looked up the whole Wonder Woman AMC thing? Because
no, but I know there's been something with Wonder Woman recently.
Yeah, pretty huge.
Obviously, they're really wanting to drop it, but they don't kind of want to. Just like
they don't want it to bump.
So it seems like they're in discussion right now about a 2.5 to 3 week video on demand, where you release it in theaters, and then after 2.5, 3 weeks, it's gonna hit video on demand for rent or purchase, and that seems to be what's happening now. And honestly, that has to be how Hollywood is going to go, right? Like, how many studios have banked so many movies now that if they start releasing them, everything's just going to die out unless you're Marvel. Like,
because right now this has gotten so bad. Because I've also read like in another city near me, they had to cancel plans for a new cinema, and in its place will be a hospital.
Yep, there's a lot of changes are happening. Like, if you look around, what's happening with like the whole box office thing. Like, I know there was a lot of demand in the last couple months, being like, hey, if you really want to push theaters, re-release Alita. So they did.
Alita Army Rise Up.
Look, I loved Alita. Okay, I really like that movie. Like, it has connections to, you know, Robert Rodriguez, obviously, one of my top 5 directors, but
it's incredibly mediocre.
That movie bombed. Like,
but the re-release, like it made like so as much money as New Mutants did their 10th week in the cinemas, I think.
Yeah. Something like that. Oh, it's.
Alita had the fantastic pleasure of bombing twice.
It's. I mean, with that type of like box office outlook, is Wonder Woman going to be this movie that does that shift? Or, as we saw a couple weeks ago, what is it? Paramount was looking to sell off James Bond for $500 to $600 million to somebody, like Amazon or Netflix.
I think it was Apple and Amazon on Netflix. It was one of the two.
I think it was Apple and Amazon is the ones I saw. So yeah,
that's a huge amount of money. And I'm surprised that no one actually took it, because Apple could really use a movie like that right now, like really put them on the map.
I mean, yeah, their Apple TV. I can't tell you how many people I know that bought new Apple phones, and I'm like, oh, did you use your Apple TV to watch any of the shows? They're like, what the hell is an Apple TV? I was like, oh, good Lord. Nobody even knows. Like,
Because they forgot about them.
Yeah.
I even forgot they still made
The
them.
only reason why Apple TV is still going is because it's owned by Apple. If it
Yep.
wasn't owned by Apple, it would have gone the way of Quibi.
Oh, totally.
Because because they're like trying to get people to use them at this point. Because new ISP providers are like bundling them into like service packages.
So, I mean, do you guys think that does WB use Wonder Woman as an actual test?
I think they do.
Because
I think they do.
I'm
If they're
sorry,
smart, they
Tenet
will.
was not a test. Tenet does not have the same type of like wow factor as a Wonder Woman. Like, I understand
Well,
people love Chris Nolan, but come on, like that's not a Wonder Woman
Right, so-
sequel.
I say Chris
So-
Nolan's absolutely delusional right now. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter. It wasn't that bad. It's like, no, it was horrendous. It
So-
tanked. Shut
right,
up
so-
and move on.
Yeah.
He's good.
So you're treating Tenet as a mulligan? Because it was supposed to save cinemas.
Pretty much.
Yes. I mean,
Oh,
you know, if I was WB, I would honestly like. I mean, I know they're not going to do it because for some reason they don't care about HBO Max subscribers. But I would just open up that video on demand section on there like Disney Plus did and just go. Because HBO Max apparently has only gotten like an extra 6 to 7 million subscribers since launching. That's not impressive at all. Like that's pathetic
it's doing real
actually.
bad.
It's they got to do something like, and hope Wonder Woman releases because I would like to see that movie finally, but something tells me WB is just very hesitant to actually move forward with that release.
yeah, because I think
Yeah.
right now they're more focused in getting animation on HBO Max than actual
Yeah, but
movies.
that's literally everyone right now.
Yeah.
It's so cheap and it's so easy to do in a lockdown. It's just the smart thing to do.
Yeah, because they're like announcing a lot of old cartoons that were produced by Steven Spielberg and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like Netflix announced like 8 anime series like a week ago. It's just like, whoa, slow down.
So, I don't know. We'll see how the hell the industry shakes up. I assume, look, from what we're hearing, WB is going to make the call to Wonder Woman theatrical release like a week before it's supposed to come out on Christmas. So
100%.
they're going to cut it real close on this one, which I'm interested to see how they do it because that is ballsy and insane at the same time. Like, that is just, it's a risk. Very, very risky. So, especially with a
And
lack
yes,
of marketing.
this did all relate to the MCU TV series topic. It did all relate.
Screw it, I'll just split them into 2. Look at that, we pulled out 5 topics. Yes.
I was like, wow, it's kind of on topic because it relates to it, but at the same time, like, I forgot we're talking about that.
Well, since that actually did give us 5 topics, and this week, I mean, Mitch was running late. I'm running semi-early because I have to go take care of stuff. So this week's podcast is technically shorter for you guys, but
Let's say like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
I'd say it was a pretty good one. It was good. I mean,
You've done worse.
oh God, yeah. Definitely
Christ,
done
that
worse.
was like right outside my window. God damn.
Yeah.
I promise I'm not being shot at.
I was going to say, where are you in,
It's
Nevada?
it's the 5th of November over here. Everyone has their fireworks.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, yup, all right.
Yeah, because you know that one movie that Americans love, that every edgy American loves? Like, that's actually a real... Well, itself wasn't real, but it's based on a real event. So
I actually, there's a couple people on my feed every year they post that, and every year because they share an old one they did from like 2013 or something. It's always my comment first going, so you don't actually know what this is. They're like, it's a good movie. I'm like, that's not why people do the 5th of November thing. God damn it.
Nope.
You ignorant
makes
people.
me cringe every year.
Yep.
It's just like, oh, Americans know.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. It's the 5th of November. When we record this, at least, somebody will call us out being like, aha, look at that. This podcast goes up on the 7th on YouTube. Yeah. So
It's 5:42 p.m. on Thursday, November 5th, 2020.
Yep. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us for another week. If Tristan and I survive, depending on the outcome of this, we'll be back next week.
Give me the password.
Yeah, I'm just gonna just send everything over to a vault, be like, unlock if you don't see my bio scan by this date. Oh, what a time to be alive. Yep. What a time. Yeah, everybody. So thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week, and hopefully you guys are all enjoying the podcast. And take care.